Imagine waking up one morning and realizing the money in your wallet is basically useless, so weak that you'd need wheelbarrows of cash just to buy a loaf of bread. It sounds crazy, but for millions of people around the world, this is their daily reality. In today's video, we're counting down the 8 most useless currencies of 2025. Currencies so devalued they barely hold any buying power.
The dong is really interesting. That's not very much in your hand, but how many thousand? Like 100,000?
10, 20, 30, 40, 95.
But it's confusing when you too many zeros on the dong.
Yeah, you can eat a lot of food in Vietnam.
For $4.
Yeah, for $4.
In America, you can eat only McDonald's for $4.
Yeah, sure. And a KFC.
I guess.
We'll uncover the reasons behind their collapse, from runaway inflation to political turmoil, and share real stories of how ordinary folks cope when their money loses its value. Stick around until the end, because you'll be surprised to learn that a weak currency doesn't always mean a weak economy. Ready to dive in? Let's get started at number 8. Number 8, the Lebanese pound, LBP. On the black market, it trades for roughly 89,500 pounds to $1 US. Since 2019, Lebanon has faced one of the worst economic collapses in modern history. Banking regulations locked up people's savings, inflation spiraled out of control, and a devastating explosion at Beirut's port in 2020 destroyed vital infrastructure. Today, basic items like a carton of milk can cost over 50,000 pounds, forcing families to carry stacks of bills just to buy groceries. Many Lebanese have turned to foreign currencies, dollars or euros, just to keep their savings from evaporating. Even with a new government promising reforms, recovery is slow. For now, the Lebanese pound remains a stark reminder of how political missteps and economic mismanagement can strip a currency of its value. Number 7, the Iranian rial, IRR. Officially, 42,000 rials equal $1, but on Tehran's black market, you'll need close to 900,000 rials for a single greenback. US sanctions since 2018 choked off Iran's oil exports, its main source of income, while domestic unrest and government price controls made matters worse. Inflation sits near 50%, meaning the price of bread or eggs can jump overnight. Shopkeepers reset their price tags daily, and many Iranians rush to convert rials into gold, dollars, or even cryptocurrencies to protect what little value they have left. Attempts to fix the currency through official rates have failed, leaving everyday people to navigate a whirlwind of exchange booths and ever-rising prices. Number 6, the Vietnamese dong, VND, trading at about 26,200 dong per US dollar. Surprisingly, Vietnam's economy is booming. Exports of electronics, textiles, and coffee have driven GDP growth above 6% annually. Yet the dong stays weak by design. A low currency value makes Vietnamese goods cheaper abroad. Locals get used to stuffing their wallets with thick wads of 50,000 and 100,000 dong notes, but everyday life adjusts accordingly. A street-side bowl of PO might cost 40,000 dong, which feels normal when wages and prices move in tandem. While carrying stacks of banknotes isn't glamorous, Vietnam shows that a weak currency can be a powerful tool for economic growth. Number 5, the Sierra Leonean leone, SLL, trading for roughly 23,000 leones per dollar. Sierra Leone has weathered a civil war, an Ebola outbreak, and chronic poverty. Despite boasting diamond mines and mineral wealth, most of its 8 million citizens struggle to buy essentials. A loaf of bread can cost 15,000 leones, a hefty slice of a day's wages for many. Rural communities often rely on subsistence farming, trading crops instead of cash whenever possible. International aid and shaky government reforms aim to lift the country out of poverty, but until structural changes take hold, the leone will stay low, forcing everyday people to contend with prices that outpace their incomes. Number 4, the Laotian kip, LAK, at about 21,600 kip per US dollar. Laos is a landlocked nation whose economy depends on farming, hydropower, and tourism. The COVID-19 pandemic slammed its tourist industry, drying up foreign currency and weakening the kip. In local markets, a bowl of sticky rice might cost 50,000 kip, which sounds like a lot until you remember those red 1,000 kip notes add up fast. Despite these challenges, Laos is investing in dams along the Mekong River to power its neighbors and earn hard currency. If those projects succeed, the kip could see a boost. Until then, Laotians cope by pricing goods in dollars at hotels and tourist spots, while locals stick to kip for daily life. Number 3, the Indonesian rupiah, trading at roughly 16,500 rupiah per US dollar. You might remember the Asian financial crisis of 1997 when the rupiah collapsed overnight, an event that reshaped Indonesia's economy. Today, Bank Indonesia works hard to keep the currency stable, using foreign reserves and careful interest rate moves to curb wild swings. In everyday life, carrying bundles of 10,000 and 20,000 rupiah notes is the norm. Your morning coffee might set you back 20,000 rupiah, barely more than $1. Despite its low value, Indonesia's economy hums along at 5 to 6% annual growth, fueled by palm oil, coal, and a booming tech sector. In fact, a weak rupiah makes Indonesian exports cheaper on world markets, helping factories and farms find buyers abroad. So while your wallet may feel thick, the real story is resilience, a currency that remembers crisis but refuses to hold the country back. Number 2, the Uzbekistan som, UZS, exchanging at about 12,700 som per US dollar. Unlike some examples on our list, Uzbekistan's journey is one of rapid change. For decades, the som was artificially propped up under a planned economy, but starting in 2017, sweeping reforms loosened controls and devalued the currency to attract foreign investors. The result, cotton, gold, and natural gas exports surged. Yet everyday Uzbek shoppers now need tens of thousands of som just to buy a basic snack. A bottle of water in Tashkent costs 3,000 som, while a quick taxi ride can run 10,000 som. But wages have begun to tick upward too. Inflation hit 10 to 12% at times, testing household budgets. But government efforts to hike salaries and cap price jumps are slowly paying off. Uzbekistan's story shows that sometimes a weaker currency is just the price you pay for opening doors to global trade and investment. Number 1, the Guinean franc, GNF, at roughly 8,700 francs per US dollar. Guinea sits atop some of the world's richest bauxite and iron ore deposits, yet its people see little benefit. Political turmoil, including multiple coups, keeps investors nervous, and the franc sliding year after year. In Conakry's crowded markets, a loaf of bread can cost 50,000 francs, meaning families spend hours lining up at banks or exchange kiosks for a few dollars worth of spending power. Basic staples, rice, oil, soap can require wads of bills, and many vendors quietly price goods in euros or dollars to sidestep franc volatility. Efforts to reform the mining sector and stabilize governance are on the table, but until serious changes take root, the franc's low value remains a daily reminder that natural wealth alone can't shore up a nation's currency. From the collapsing Lebanese pound to the embattled Guinean franc, these 8 currencies share one common thread. They've lost much of their power to buy everyday goods. Some, like Vietnam and Indonesia, lean into a weak currency to fuel exports and growth. Others, like Lebanon and Guinea, are mired in crises that strip away people's savings and livelihoods. What ties them all together is the human cost. Families stretching budgets, vendors juggling stacks of bills, and entire economies searching for a way back to stability. Which of these stories surprised you the most? Drop a comment, hit that like button if you learned something new, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the world's biggest money mysteries. Until next time, keep your eyes on the exchange rate and your wallet close.